Hey guys, welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shanna. If you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of four who's in our 6th year of homeschooling. We come here and we share our focus on secular curriculum choices, but also I really try to come here and kind of break the mold of like the thought of homeschool. Guys, today I want to share with you what homeschool is and what homeschool isn't. Guys, before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. Okay, so I come here and I share, what we're using for curriculum because I think it's really important to highlight like the lesser known secular curriculum choices that are out there because, again, they're lesser known and some of us have chosen specifically a focus on secular curriculum. And so I think it's good to have that. In the homeschool world, it is rare and hard to find things that are just specifically made for the secular homeschooler. So I come here and I share that. I also come here and I share like my kind of personal journey as a mom, as a homeschool mom, as a small business owner, working mom, life things. So we come here and we talk about a lot of things. I intentionally want to share our lives and situations as far as it pertains to homeschooling because I don't feel like the reason I started this is because I don't feel like our homeschool has ever fit into the molds that you see on the internet and the socials and the things like that. Our homeschool doesn't look like that, and it never has. And it probably never will. And I'm good with that and I'm okay with that. But I think that comparison creates that void, right? I wanted to know that there were more people out there who homeschooled like I did. And by never seeing that, by always only ever seeing the same cookie cutter versions of homeschool, it was not necessarily hard, but just weird. It made it harder. So it is important to me to come here and share things that aren't the ideal mold of that. And that's kind of how I'm motivated to come here and share things. When things resonate with me, I want to come and say it and share it and speak it at you, sometimes more so for my own benefit, which I've always been honest about, but is true. So recently on kind of the homeschool interwebs, I saw a thing, and I'm totally not responsible for this, totally not claiming any responsibility for it. If somebody has a link to it, please share it down below. I can't find it, but there was, and it was like, I think it went relatively like, homeschool interwebs viral, which isn't that big, but is what it is. But a woman was saying that homeschool is a greenhouse. It's not a bubble. And I just read that and it just sat with me so well. And I think it is one of those things that genuinely answers so many of the arguments against homeschool. It genuinely answers, oh, but what about this? And what about that? And because I've heard it before, like, how will they learn to do these things they don't want to do? But how will they learn to sit still? How will they learn to be in a group? How will they learn to take tests? How will they? And people look at it as, Harry Potter in the closet under the stairs situation, or you can't keep them from being exposed to the world. And it's never about that. It's certainly not for me about censoring out the world or the nitty gritty or the ugly from my children. It's genuinely not. I'm not sad that they're exposed to a little less mean girl behavior. I'm not sad they're exposed to a little less bullying. I'm not sad they're exposed to a little less of them really bad things. I'm not sad about it. But it's not my motivation for being here and living this way of life. And so I think looking at this, it just really, really plucked my heartstrings. And I was like, this is it. It is not a bubble, right? It is not exclusionary. It is not something that can pop and their entire existence is changed and made different. It is a greenhouse. It is growing them in the right circumstances. It is giving them the best soil. It is giving them the best environment in a place that has a door, right? The door leads to the outside world. So we're starting them as little seedlings, as little saplings, and we are giving them the absolute best that we can pour into them, the right amount of sunlight, the right amount of water. We are fostering the formative growth. And then we take them out of the greenhouse. So never it shall shatter, the door opens both ways. I think that this just so perfectly sat with me, sat in my soul. I wanted to come here. As soon as I saw it, I was like, man, I love that. And just thinking on it and thinking on it and thinking on it and thinking on it. And it just became, every time I think about it, every time I circle back, it becomes so much more true. It becomes so much more applicable, I feel like, to truly explaining our goals here, to truly explaining what my soul wants for my children, truly explaining what all of my efforts are for. Because homeschool is a greenhouse, it is not a bubble. My goal is not to deprive them of light or water or soil or air or any of that. It is to give them the best of that. It is to grow them up in a manner that will suit them for the rest of life, right? It is not to keep them sheltered and bubbled away and to exclude any of that from their presence or from their lives. It's simply to start them out in a solid foundation, start them out in a nutrient-rich soil, which is their education here, and not to keep them from things. I just felt like this was something that so wonderfully articulated what the goals, at least my goals are for homeschooling my children. And it just really spoke to me. And I know that it's going to speak to some of you. If any of you know where that post is, the original person, any of that, please share those details down below because I would love to find it again. It was so in tune, I felt like, with the underlying, the part that's hard to articulate to people. So when you have a family member or somebody, when you have the naysayers, when you have all of those things happening, it is hard, so hard sometimes to really get, because you're going to get like 5 words. You've got to be able to sell it just like that, right? Like if you can't sell it in 5 words, you can't sell it. And these are those words, the ones that cut right through, the ones that get to the nitty gritty, the whole kind of crux of the situation. These are those words. My homeschool is a greenhouse. It is not a bubble. Boom. So resonating, so impactful. Because you know what a bubble is. And a bubble really does create this kind of, like Bubble Boy, right? He's kept away from everything for his own safety. And you know what a greenhouse is. It's such an easy and smart and articulate way to convey the deeper meaning, the real message. And again, it just like with me, where I sat and I thought on it. And every time I thought on it, every time, even now saying it, it is so inspiring. It is such a wonderful way to say this that it truly does. Every time it just gives you a little more, right? It just becomes a little more accurate, a little more applicable to what, and I envision you're doing the same things I'm doing, what we are doing, what we are building for our children. We are not working to shell them off from the world. We are not making them delicate and fragile. Again, this implications of a bubble, that they are not something that can withstand the heat and the cold. A bubble's gonna pop, it's gonna burst, and they're gonna be left out in this cold world, never having been exposed to it. No, it is a greenhouse. We're giving them the foundation. We are allowing them to flower and bloom under the right circumstances, the ideal circumstances for them, right? Because that's the other thing. Not every greenhouse is the same. You've got to tailor it to each plant. So again, here's another layer where this is accurate. But I just loved it so much. I thought I'd come here. I think this video is going to go up as my last one of the year. And what a wonderful way to, like a wonderful note to leave on is that your homeschool is a greenhouse. It is not a bubble. I love it. If you guys have any resources on how to find the original person who said it, please let me know because I claim no ownership over this. I just thought it was so touching, so poignant, so wonderful that I wanted to share it with you. Guys, as always, I hope you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. Guys, last video of the year. I hope that 2022 was wonderful for you. I'm sure we'll be checking back in soon because I love a new year. I love turning a new page. And what better way to do it than here as our group? I'm so proud of this that's been kind of fostered and grown here. And people are so kind and so wonderful. And I'm so thankful that we're pooling our resources of momness, pooling our resources of womanness, parenthood, homeschooling, secular specifically, all here together. I love it. I like that it's inclusive. I'm really happy. I'm really happy I'm here. I'm really happy you're here. Thank you for being here. Guys, Happy New Year. Bye.